Hello and welcome to another one of my train reviews. Today we're going to be doing something a little bit different. We're going to be diving into the world of urban public transportation. And what better way to do it than in my beautiful home city of Perth in Western Australia. Today we're going to be covering the opening day for the newly renamed Yanchep Railway line, which is the first major extension of the existing Joondalup line in about 10 years. Bringing in about 14 kilometres of new track and 3 brand new railway stations. With the extension of this line combining with the southern Mandurah line, Perth now has about 124 kilometres of continuous north-south railway tracks. So without further ado, come join me as we travel 54.5 kilometres to the far northern coastal suburbs of Perth via rail. I'll tell you a few tips and tricks along the way about Transperth and even how you can travel for free like I am today. Hello, good afternoon and welcome to the beautiful city of Perth, located here in West Australia. With a population of about 2.2 million people, Perth is actually the capital of West Australia, the biggest city on the west coast, and also happens to be my home base. Long-time resident here in Perth. Couldn't live anywhere else in Australia. It really is my favourite city in my opinion. Anyway, while urban public transportation reviews are not necessarily my bread and butter on the Aussie JetSetter YouTube channel, thought it is a very historic day here in Perth, so I'd make my way to the city where we are here at Elizabeth Quay now. It's going to be a very historic day because the Joondalup line on the Perth railway network is officially being extended by 14.5 kilometres out to Yanchep. Already a long line, the Joondalup line, but now with 3 new stations being opened today, it's going to be 54.5 kilometres long. If you're familiar with Perth's public transport network, you've got the Joondalup line, which is now officially the Yanchep line, and you've got the Mandurah line. Runs north-south all the way up and down Perth's Quay and Mitchell freeways. Whilst the 2 lines have separate names, they for all intents and purposes run straight into each other and they are continuous. So considering the Mandurah line down south goes 70.1 kilometres, this now means we've got 124.6 kilometres of continuous tracks north-south in Perth, which is extremely impressive feat. Just shows you how sprawling Perth's population is north-south along the coastal strip there. Anyway, it's been a bit of a wintry old day here in Perth on a Sunday afternoon, a bit chilly and a little bit of rain around. Looks like that rain may come back in again. So without further ado, I'll quickly show you around what Elizabeth Quay looks like. Fairly modern new fixture here of the Perth CBD skyline down on the Swan River, where you can get the ferry over to South Perth. Also get good views of the Swan River and the CBD skyline behind me, also Kings Park and the Narrow Bridge. I'll show you a quick tour around Elizabeth Quay, then we'll head over to Elizabeth Quay train station and we'll get this epic 56 kilometre or so trip up to Yanchep underway. Should be a really exciting one. Before we head over to Elizabeth Quay railway station to kickstart our fun little inaugural opening day trip up to Yanchep today in Perth's far northern suburbs, a little bit about Elizabeth Quay itself. So it's a mixed-use development project here in the Perth Central Business District. Construction first started back in 2012 and officially opened on January 29, 2016. Just as the name suggests a link to British royalty, the whole precinct was actually named in honour of Queen Elizabeth II during her Diamond Jubilee year back in 2012. So the whole Elizabeth Quay project was actually one of the largest and most ambitious construction projects in the whole of West Australia's history. It essentially involved constructing an artificial inlet on what was previously known as the Esplanade Reserve and modifications to the surrounding environments such as Barrack Street, with the project opening up 9 sites for potential development. Once completed, it was initially projected that the whole project would see 1,700 residential apartments built, 150,000 square metres of office space and 39,000 square metres of retail space. And in addition to that, there were associated buildings such as the Ritz-Carlton Hotel. On top of this, coinciding with the opening of Elizabeth Quay back in 2016, we also saw the opening of Elizabeth Quay Jetty, which is now home to Transperth's ferry service over to Men's Street Jetty in South Perth. This replaced Barrack Street Jetty not too far away. Anyway, we're now heading over to Elizabeth Quay Railway Station, which is one of 2 underground railway stations in Perth. It was originally known as Esplanade Station when it first opened a part of the Mandurah line opening back in 2007. The renaming of Esplanade Station to Elizabeth Quay then occurred on 31st of January 2016, only 2 days after the opening of the nearby Elizabeth Quay that we just visited. Elizabeth Quay is just 600 metres underground from Perth Underground Railway Station. It is essentially the second stop on the Mandurah line when heading southbound and the last stop heading northbound back to Perth. Essentially, as Perth's Mandurah and Joondalup lines, now to be renamed Yanchep lines, run continuously into each other, you can indeed get a train from here all the way up to Yanchep today. The great thing about Perth is public transport is free every Sunday at the moment, provided that you use a Smart Rider. The key caveats for free travel are that obviously you've got to tag on and off with your Smart Rider, and your Smart Rider's also got to be in balance. Considering I'm at a train station today, I'm going to take the opportunity to top up my Smart Rider with some funds anyway, as unfortunately Perth hasn't adopted bank card and credit card travel yet on public transportation. So I'm just going to take an opportunity to top up my card while there's a vending machine at the train station, because when you travel on buses in Perth, they only take cash if you want to top up your card, and if you want to buy a cash ticket, they don't even give you change. Can't say I'm a real fan of these vending machines here at Elizabeth Quay, however. Big fancy high-tech machine, only to direct you to use a QR code on your own phone to add the payment. Seems a bit silly in my opinion. Not like this at every Transperth station in Perth, however. Another good thing about Perth is its extensive free transit network throughout the centre of the city, and also extending slightly into some of the inner suburbs. There's a small network of central area transit buses, otherwise colloquially known as CAT buses, and you can also travel on Perth's trains between here at Elizabeth Quay to Perth Underground. You can also travel out to City West and also Mackay and Claresbrook stations as well. Going back to the whole free travel on Sunday, I think the fact that people who don't have a Smart Rider still have to pay a cash ticket is a little bit disingenuous in my opinion. To be honest, considering it's only a small percentage of travellers who don't have a Smart Rider, trying to spend the money, time, resources trying to enforce payment of fares by non-Smart Rider passengers just is a little bit counterintuitive to me. Plus, if your main aim is to increase public transport uptake and get more cars off the road, excluding those who don't traditionally travel, who probably don't have a Smart Rider, by free public transport is certainly not going to encourage them to take it up. Anyway, here's our train taking us up to Yanchep today by a short stop at Perth Underground. It's a Transperth B series train. Really sorry it's not a C series, but yeah, these B series are very much a stalwart train operating on the Mandurah and Joondalup lines here in Perth. A total of 234 carriages consisting of 78 sets have been produced by Downer Rail in Maryborough, Queensland between 2004 and 2019. Although the B series has predominantly operated on the Mandurah and Joondalup lines here in Perth over the years, they are now progressively being rolled out on other lines here in Perth, such as the Fremantle, Armidale, Airport and Thornley lines. This is because the C series, the much hype made in West Australia trains, began rolling out in April 2024. So in a nutshell, lines which are traditionally operated by Perth's aging first generation electric A series trains, they will progressively see the rollout of more and more B series services as the A series are progressively phased out. Meanwhile, lines that traditionally operated the B series will begin to start seeing more and more C series as they are delivered for Transperth. Anyway, you'll notice we just passed through Perth Underground Railway Station, which officially marks the start of the Yanchep line, even though we boarded at Elizabeth Quay. So from here it's now 54.5 kilometres up to Yanchep today. Until this day, the line was actually known as the Joondalup line, though it actually went all the way up to Butler, which is 40.7 kilometres here from Perth. So that means the extension of today's railway line is an extra 13.8 kilometres. The line itself first opened on 20th of December 1992, which include the opening of stations such as Leederville, which we're passing through now, Edgewater and Joondalup. Wasn't until 1993, however, February to be precise, that Glendalough, Stirling, Warwick and Whitfords were also opening, and it was on 21 March 1993 that a full service on the line between Perth and Joondalup commenced. In a nutshell, the original Perth to Joondalup line was 26.2 kilometres north of Perth CBD, with an eventual extension to Carrabine that put it 29.2 kilometres. Then you got Clarkson was extended as well, 33.2 kilometres. And then later on we saw obviously Butler. Now we've got the new stations that are opening today, which are not just including a Yanchep. We also got Alkimos at 43 kilometres from Perth Central Business District. Also got Eglinton at 46.7 kilometres, and of course a Yanchep where today's service will now terminate at 54.5 kilometres. Interestingly, compared to the Joondalup now renamed Yanchep line, which has had many extensions over the years, and I dare say more in the future, the southern line here in Perth, indeed the Mandurah line, actually was opened in 2007, has operated Perth to Mandurah ever since. No further extensions as of this stage. The Mandurah line still very much is the longest railway line here in Perth at 70.1 kilometres in length. It's actually so long it technically extends beyond the actual metropolitan definition of Perth, even if the city of Mandurah for all intents and purposes is a part of the greater Perth region. Whilst technically the Mandurah and Yanchep line are technically separate different lines, there's actually nothing stopping you from taking a train all the way from Mandurah to Yanchep without having to even step off the train. Even though the service will change at Elizabeth Quay to the Yanchep line service, you can continue to travel the whole 124 odd kilometres of the line. It will take you about an hour and 47 minutes. Which is a really impressive feat considering we're really actually just talking about public transportation railway lines, not an intercity railway journey or anything like that. Really just demonstrates how big Perth's population sprawl is all up and down along the coast. Probably some 150 kilometres of continuous development these days. In terms of pricing on Perth's public transportation network, it's a two-tiered system for fares. Smart Rider holders always get cheaper fares. There's also discounts available for certain concession card holders. You can still buy cash fares as well. On buses, it's literally cash only with no change. And then you can also buy cash tickets at vending machines at train stations. Interestingly enough, there's 9 zones in Perth's public transportation network. Luckily, in more recent years, essentially public transportation fares have been capped at 2 zones. However, if you are buying a cash ticket, you do still have to note how many zones you're taking for whatever reason. For information, despite Yanchep being 54.5 kilometres from Perth, it's only zone 6 out of 9 zones here in Perth. Just shows you how big Perth's public transportation network is. Anyway, in any case, we're travelling more than 2 zones from Perth, so you will be charged a maximum 2 zone journey. A cash fare will be $5.20, and a Smart Rider with a 10% discount is $4.68. If you got a 20% discount on your Smart Rider, it's $4.16. Concession is $2.40 cash and $2.16 on Smart Rider, or $1.92, depending on the type of Smart Rider you have. Anyway, as we now leave Greenwood Station, I'll leave you to enjoy the rest of today's historic opening day journey up to Yanchep. If you want to go directly to the new part of the line and indeed see the brand new C series at the Mandurah depot, skip forward to around about the 20-minute mark. But yeah, for now, sit back, relax and enjoy.
Attention please, this is not a station stop. Please stand away from the doors. Next station, Butler. Next station, Alkimos.
Yanchep, where this service terminates.
And just like that, folks, we're at beautiful Yanchep, and that brings a wrap today's historic inaugural day. First day service out to Yanchep, officially been extended now, an extra 14.5 kilometres on from Butler, I believe. So I think we're 54.5 kilometres from Perth Underground Station today. Yeah, overall, really enjoyable journey today. Always a very smooth ride, the B series. Fortunately, it couldn't be a C series today. Didn't have too much hope I'd get a C series, to be honest, on a weekend. So I'll have to try and catch that another time, maybe catch a train all the way from Yanchep to Mandurah, saying like that. That'd be a really cool video. But yeah, really comfortable ride today. Very smooth, very fast, very efficient. And yeah, best of all, it didn't cost me anything because Transperth is free on Sundays, as long as you got a smart rider. So from here at Yanchep, really hope you've enjoyed today's video. Something a little bit different on the channel. No public transportation reviews are not necessarily my bread and butter. Nonetheless, hope you enjoyed it. Got to see some of the landscapes of Perth's northern outer sprawl. If you have enjoyed it, really appreciate it. Do give it a like, flick your comments down below. Don't forget to share amongst your family and friends as well. And if you have enjoyed this video, if you haven't already, really appreciate it. Do subscribe to the channel, click that bell and notification button on so you won't miss the next one. If you do enjoy this sort of public transportation content as well, do let me know, because I might be encouraged to produce more of it. But from here in Yanchep in Perth's far north, thanks so much for watching today's very interesting video on the Transperth B series up to Yanchep. In the meantime, you also visit my website, aussiejetsetter.com.au for latest and flight reviews, industry news, destination guides, frequent flyer hacks and more. Maybe join my dedicated Discord server for fans and community of the channel to discuss all things aviation and travel as well. Maybe even check out my Instagram page and dedicated Aussie JetSetter Shorts channel for more short form content as well. But from here in Yanchep, thanks so much for watching today's historic video. And until the next video, thanks for watching and safe travels wherever that might take you.